so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
Hello, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am hanging in there. Teresa, when you ask people and they say, I'm well and are hanging in there, there is a different meaning in those returns, right?
I think in many cases, you're not sure if the person really wants to hear the truth.
You think so? No, I mean different things. When I say well, that means it's going pretty, hanging, it's pretty good. But hanging in there means, woo, all right, we're there, we're still there, but it's not where I'd hoped it would be today. So that's where I am, partner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because sometimes if you go into every time you're asked that question, if you go into this extra long explanation about how you're truly doing, some people get lost in that,
Well, I wouldn't share that with just anybody. I thought you actually cared.
Well, no. I'm talking about you, actually. I've seen your eyes kind of glaze over when I go into my explanation.
Okay. I hear no lies there.
See what I mean?
Oh, you know me so well. Well, sometimes it's too much. I got my own cross to bear. Okay, I can't carry yours too.
That's exactly what I mean. So I know.
I know. Okay.
I know what I'm saying is, when you can say that and when you can go into those deep explanations.
Yeah. Okay. Folks, we're teaching you something here today. Learn the difference. Okay. Now, there you have it. That's our tip today from Earrings Off. But Teresa, a lot has been happening lately. Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
That collapse of the bridge in Baltimore, Francis Scott Key Bridge. Oh my goodness. That was just devastating. And it is a tragedy and so unfortunate that I think there were about 6 people who are presumed dead from that collapse. But I am just so thankful there weren't more than that.
Yeah, first let's just offer condolences to those families. But same, I'm thankful that the ship was able to radio in that they were likely to hit the bridge and the police were able to stop the traffic. It was quite, I mean, if you're having to see any silver lining in this, the fact that it was at that hour of night, and not in rush hour, it could have been far more tragic, but nonetheless, still a very, very tragic situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just yet another reminder of how fragile life is, how you can be going about your day, following your routine, and, something happens, tragedy happens to just alter your whole universe,
I know.
And when you think about the loved ones and the families impacted and the community at large, it's just something to think about how quickly life changes,
It can change on a dime, as they say.
Yeah. So true. And of course, Louis Gossett died. He was 87.
I did not hear that.
You didn't hear? Yeah,
he
died. He died yesterday.
Wow.
And, Teresa, you and I both saw the new rendition of The Color Purple. Mm-hmm. And, he was in there playing Mr. Because I was surprised when I saw him on screen. And, when you see him, you sort of sit up straighter because it's like, whoa, that's Louis Gossett. Yeah.
Correction, he didn't do Mr. He was Mr.'s dad.
Yeah, right. Mr.'s dad. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
I am so sorry to hear that. Condolences. for
Yeah.
his family. Yeah,
And
wow.
he was the first Black actor to win an Oscar for Best Supporting
Mm-hmm.
Actor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw An Officer and a Gentleman. That's dating myself, but he was I think he played a drill sergeant in that movie. I think Richard Gere was the lead. He put in quite a performance. He was
Mm,
amazing. He was quite an actor. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer in
mm,
2010. I didn't know that, but they said he wanted very much for it to be publicized because he wanted to send a message to other men to take care of themselves and to be aware of the symptoms. And he was very much about educating others on this disease, as always, thinking of others and trying to bring some good into the communities. His performances certainly touched our lives, and such a loss. Yeah,
such
yeah,
a loss. You're right.
yeah.
Indeed. But he
And
had
of
a
course,
great life.
oh yeah, 87. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
great life. But of course, the big news was that raid on Diddy's home and the allegations of human trafficking. And all I kept thinking about was that interview that Cat Williams did with Shannon Sharp, where he
Mhm.
talked about that. I was like, oh my goodness. He said some reckoning was going to be coming in 2024. That's what Cat Williams said for, a lot of the bad actors. And I don't mean like in screenplays, I mean people who are behaving poorly or even criminally. That's what Kat referenced in the interview. So it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say about that except for one thing that I have heard is that on social media, on whatever platform, I don't know, probably Twitter, but people are saying, Black people are saying they're always trying to take a brother down, right? And I didn't
Hmm.
go look for the story, so for the tweets or the posts or whatever. But in
You know
this
what?
instance, he if he did it, oh my goodness, he needs
If
to
and
be
you're
held
right.
accountable for what
You
he's done. And I know for a fact that the girl, Cassie, who had a claim against him, he settled out of court very quickly. So if
you know
any of that
what?
stuff was true, he deserves to be in jail. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm getting tired of people in our community not only condoning, but always coming to the defense of people who are acting in ways that are detrimental. I won't even say criminal. I'm saying, are you serious? Really? We
Yeah,
have to look at things and not always go into they're trying to do something to us mode and it's so unfair. Well, what's unfair is for us to have trust in people who betray that trust by doing things that we know are not only inappropriate, they're criminal. And
they're
we need to
criminal.
stop that. I was so bothered when the whole thing with Bill Cosby came up. Yeah,
Oh,
I love the Cosby show like everybody else, but would you get a freaking grip? Really? I'm
so
done. We
yeah,
need to do better as a community. Yeah, there are instances of injustice. There are instances where other folks get a break and we don't. But
yeah,
really, we cannot condone
bad
actions that
behavior.
we know are bad. We just can't. It's just like, I mean, with the Will Smith slap. Yeah, I was in the middle of reading his biography and it was wonderful. But you know what? I cannot support that. I can't do it.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's not
true.
okay. That is not
It's
okay. But
it's
oh
not
my
okay.
goodness. See, now my blood pressure going up. I can't take that. I cannot take that kind of stuff early in the day.
I'm sorry. I'm so
Good
sorry.
Lord,
Yeah,
please.
it is. It is
I pray
unfortunate.
that truth will come out.
Yeah.
Um, and what if he did anything, he is fully held accountable for it. It's just a tragedy what's happened in that situation and the allegations, which have swirled around for years that we know about in the community. So
So
anyway, Teresa,
eh,
that's I now need to calm down. So you got any good news, something to bring us back?
yeah, Lou, you know what? I can always come through in a clutch, but I want to just add one other thing before we go to the good news. Well,
Okay.
this is actually good news.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I know you haven't heard it, but I'm gonna give it a try.
Okay.
Cowboy Carter.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Beyonce's new album
Yeah,
dropped.
yeah. I saw that. I heard a
Yeah.
snippet of it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've listened to it about 4 times now or
You
more.
have?
Yeah.
What?
I haven't had it on repeat because it takes a long time to hear all the lyrics and to understand. And I learned this from Nia, right? Because I would
Yeah.
listen to something and say, "Oh yeah, I've heard it," but
Yeah.
have you really heard it, right?
Yeah. You told me about that. Yeah.
So yeah, so in order to be able to talk to her about it, who is
A
Beyonce's
Beyonce, yeah,
biggest
fan.
fan,
Yeah.
I gotta have heard all of the lyrics, all of the bass lines, all of the banjo lines, if you will,
Yeah.
and to be able to talk about it. But the thing that has, upset me a little bit, here we go, I'm probably gonna raise your blood pressure again, is the fact that so many people are angry about
Yeah.
her doing a country music
And
album.
she's from Texas.
Well, not even that, Lou. Country music dates back to who? Come on
Oh,
now. And that's
yeah.
one thing that this album brings out. I mean, really, the roots go way back to
Right.
African
Right.
people.
Well, I tell you, Teresa, I grew up in a small South Carolina town.
Hmm.
Um, and we had one radio station, one,
Hmm.
and it was AM, and the only thing they played was country music. So when I had a fractured ankle in eighth grade, um, I couldn't go to school. I think I was out for almost 2 months. When I think about this, I was out of school for almost 2 months, didn't go to classes, and nobody did any homeschooling that brought me anything. How did that happen? Did I get assignments? I don't remember that. The world, what were they doing back then? But anyway, I might have been out for 6 weeks, but I do not remember that, anybody sending me anything. I guess they did. But anyway, I had a lot of time just listening to the radio. And I was very much into country music growing up because that's all that played on the radio. Yeah.
Well, I actually listen to all genres of music.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
and I wish I wish that we didn't assign, you know, race to
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
right? And it's unfortunate that we do. And I think there was a quote from Beyonce stating something to that effect.
Yeah.
She wants there to be a day where
Yeah.
we don't have to be held to a genre
We're
of music
limited. Right. Right.
by what we look like. So yeah, and believe me, I get teased even by my own family because when I'm cleaning, who knows what I'm in the mood for, that I
Yeah.
put on music and I'm jamming to it and doing what I
Yeah.
gotta do. But I
Yeah.
love music in general. Not to the point of my daughter, but
Yeah.
I like a good tune. All right,
Yeah.
on to
Oh,
good
wow.
deeds.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Lou, I want to share with you today, before we get into our segment on good deeds, I want to share with you the benefits of doing good deeds.
Okay.
I mean, we do get a feeling of euphoria, if you will, when you give someone something unexpected and they're just so grateful for it. It just
Yeah.
makes you feel good inside, right? You've had that
Yeah.
experience, I'm sure, because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
quite giving.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? It's funny. I actually had that yesterday. I had a friend recently who I'd had a book that I knew she liked a lot. I wanted to give it to her. But I didn't want to, you have to be careful, like with people. Well, I didn't like the book that much, or, you don't know if the person would be offended by you gifting them something, is my point. So I asked, I said, you know what, would you like this? And she was thrilled. She was like, thank you so much. That was so considerate of you. So you don't know sometimes where it's going to land, but I did feel great after that, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you feel better. It performing good deeds trigger a sensation known as helper's high. When you
Yeah.
help someone, your brain releases endorphins, the feel
Mm.
good chemicals. Additionally, doing good generates feelings of satisfaction and gratitude. It decreases stress.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Volunteering and acts of kindness can significantly impact your blood pressure.
Wow. Hmm.
Adults over 50 who volunteer are less likely to develop hypertension later on.
But you know what, Teresa, what I've found, I really believe this, that I believe in karma, I believe in reaping what you sow, and I believe that when you're generous and you do good deeds, in my life, I've found it comes back to you in some way. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
does. It
Oh, yeah.
finds you. It
Yeah.
returns to you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe that. I
Hmm.
believe that too, Lou. Learning and practice. Good deeds allow us to learn important skills like social awareness, empathy, and perspective taking. Helping others is intrinsically rewarding, creating a positive feedback loop of feeling good about making others feel good, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
to wrap it up, decrease stress, increase life expectancy, feeling better, just happiness in general, learning and practice, and those health benefits.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
want to share. I want to share one example with you.
Okay.
There's a woman. Her name was Cammie Walker. In my research, I found that Cammie has passed on,
Hmm.
transition.
Hmm.
But Cammie was diagnosed in the height of her life with multiple sclerosis,
Mm.
an incurable neurological condition. Her symptoms became unbearable. She lost the use of her hands, the vision in one eye, and eventually the ability to walk. She was spiraling into a deep depression and
Mm.
addiction to pain medication.
Hmm.
Cammie had a neighbor in Bali. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Mbali, in Bali. She was a neighbor and spiritual teacher. And she was talking to her and telling her how she was just giving up. She didn't want to go on. She didn't want to live. And Bali just suggested to her, stop thinking about yourself. She did. She told her, don't think
Wow.
about yourself. She told her to just think about others. And she challenged her to give something away every day for 29 days. I would really love to talk to Mbali to see what was significant about 29 days. So Walker did just that. She started calling a friend. She handed a flower to a stranger on the street. Her gifts weren't extravagant, didn't cost a dime, many of them, but they absolutely changed her life. By day 14, she was able to walk again.
Whoa.
Mhm.
What?
By day 29, she was actually working part time again.
What? Teresa, that's amazing.
It is. She finished her 29 days and she created this global movement called 29gifts.org. She also wrote a book about it, which became a bestseller.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I saw this, and two things came to mind. Exactly what you said. It's so funny how you just said what you said about good
Hmm.
deeds. When you give, it comes back around,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And just not living and feeling, it's hard to do when you're facing such a diagnosis, not to
Mm-hmm.
feel sorry for yourself, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the exact opposite that you need to do to help your situation. You need to think positive about it. You know, we're going to do a show on manifestations. I think that's exactly what happened with this young lady. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, an amazing story. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my goodness, what a
Mm.
story!"
Right. Oh, and I tell you, even to do something like that is not only something when you think about her giving away stuff, but it takes courage to even take the focus off of yourself when you're
Mm-hmm.
going through something like that. Because our natural tendency is self-survival. And it's like, okay, I need all to devote all of my energy and effort into me combating this situation. You know, all of my effort has to go there, all of my attention. But it takes some courage to say, no, that's not the way I'm going to roll. It's still not about me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would love to meet and sit down and talk with Mbali. Right? I
yeah,
would love
yeah.
to know her story. They didn't put her last name, they didn't put her last name, so it's going to be impossible
Right,
to
fine or wow.
research her and
Yeah.
find her. But
Mm,
yeah. So
that's
another story was reported by the ABC News. It was titled Simple Question and
mhm,
the Life-Saving Answer. Okay?
mhm,
So this guy George Johnson was a regular at a neighborhood store in Philadelphia.
uh-huh,
Every morning he went there to get his cup of coffee, and many days he would go by there to have a sandwich, a
right,
Philly cheesesteak.
right.
And the same hostess waited on him every day, Carolyn de Fabrizio.
Mhm,
She served him for more than a decade, right? And so one day he came into the store, and it was a corner store that also was a grocery store. It was all of
mhm,
those things, right?
mhm, mhm,
So she asked him to hand her a cup of creamer, I mean a carton of creamer from a refrigerator. And he handed it to her and he said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" And her
mhm,
response was, "Yeah, if you got an extra kidney, I'll take it." And his response was, "Yeah, why not?" So this gentleman, George, went and had himself tested, and he was an absolute positive
match.
match for her. But
Wow.
get this, she was in stage 5 of
Oh
kidney
my God.
failure,
Yeah.
changed
Wow.
and saved her life.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
great story.
Yeah, it is. It
I
is.
mean, who would do that?
I mean, he wasn't really a stranger because he
Right,
came
because
there
she
every
came in.
day for
But Teresa, there's also a message in there about being bold,
hey,
saying what you need, put it out there.
there's
That's what
a
she
there
needed.
there's a thing that this gentleman that I know says a closed mouth never
Yeah,
gets fed, right?
yeah,
It
yeah,
never gets fed. So if you don't ask, you
yeah.
don't
How would
get,
people
right?
know? Right,
How will
right, right.
people know? And she was literally, she worked every day. And through all of this, and she was taking dialysis at home.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
it just had gotten to a point where she was down and he noticed
Wow,
and he said, "Hey, yeah, why not?"
wow. Mm.
And he was an actual match. How
Oh,
that was being in the right place, and that no, no, you know what? No, that was that was nothing but God.
yeah, yeah.
that
That's what I
that
believe. So,
that
wow.
was nothing but God. Yeah,
That's good stuff. So,
yeah.
you know what? Now I'm not angry at the news. I feel better. So, thank you for sharing those stories of good deeds. And we all need to pay attention to what's going on around us. We might just be able to lend a helping hand and make somebody else's day better. But in the words of Tabitha Brown, if you can't have a good day, don't you dare go messing up somebody else's. I know I said that wrong, but how does she say it, Teresa?
I think you said it right.
Okay. There you have it, folks. So that's it for us today at Earrings Off. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Take good care.